Very happy to have you here this evening. My name is Sunshine Muncho. I am an attorney and co-founder of this wonderful organization along with Amber Center. And for those of you who don't know, Supernova was formed by the three of us to address two primary needs in the cannabis industry. One, to create a space by women of color, for women of color, to talk about our unique experiences of people trying to practice and grow businesses in an environment that historically has been hostile to our bodies. And two, to create educational fora for people who are interested in learning about what's happening in the industry with respect to business opportunities, what's happening in the industry with respect to the criminalization and continued criminalization of cannabis throughout the country, and also to understand how they can get involved on a local, national, and state level. So here in California, we're at a very unique crossroads where we are contemplating a legalization initiative that may be on the ballot in November. We are rolling out regulations for a long-standing medical cannabis industry, and we are very much concerned that there isn't enough being done to reach out to our communities to let them know about this opportunity. I think historically we have been prosecuted for our participation, and now it's time for us to come out from the shadows and talk about what it's like to actually run these businesses. So to that end, we have three primary programs that we're putting on in our first year of existence. Shades of Green is one. It's just for the general public to give a quick and dirty summary of what it's like to regulate, who the regulators are, who the attorneys are in the space, and then who are the business owners of color that you can look to as people who have been through it, are currently going through it, and want to reach out and help mentor new business. The second program that we're working on is a partnership with Gateway Incubator in Oakland, located in Jack London Square, where we're going to do Business 101 and Business 201 workshops for people. So, as I was saying, we're doing these Business 101 and 201 workshops that will help people understand how to start a business, and then the people who are further along and are trying to think about growing and understanding how to take investment, there will be 201 workshops. These, again, are all free services. And then our third program that we'll be putting on this year is an ex-offender clinic, where if the formerly incarcerated are trying to figure out how they can enter this space, as you'll see if you read the legislation, the state regulators may take into consideration past convictions. Should they do so, we need to have some sort of documentation of people's rehabilitation so that they can hold something up saying, like, here's my history, here's what happened, we're being honest and transparent about it, and here's why I should still be able to participate in the industry that I helped build. We are partnering with the Beverage Law Firm because they have that experience on the ABC side, and it's going to be very similar, so look out for that. And at the same time, at these workshops, we'll also be doing Prop 47 reclassification, which we'll hear more about from our panelists. So stay on the lookout for that. If you haven't signed in, please do so. In order to qualify for the 50% off of Kendra Miller's legal consultation fee, you need to have signed in legibly on our sign-in sheets. Thank you and welcome, and I'm going to turn it over to co-founder Nina so she can talk about a little bit of housekeeping and community agreements for this meeting. Thank you.
Sunshine. And thank you guys all for being here. I'm really excited to see so many faces in the room and knowing that we're going to create something different. So because we're creating something different, that means that we're going to have conversation that is different, right? So part of the community agreements that I would like to keep for the space is, that we would like to keep for the space, is that everyone keeps an open mind. Because this is a new conversation, right? And then there's a lot of stigma that was attached to it. So check yourself every now and then. If something wells up within you and you feel a certain way, like, check in with yourself. And be like, am I angry? Am I tired? Am I receiving this information strangely because of something that another thought that used to exist in my mind, and how can we move forward? Because that's what we're looking to do here, is to move forward and to create creative solutions for a long-standing problem. So hopefully we can find some new innovative ideas. If you have any of those new innovative ideas, we would like to put it up on that wall over there so that we can continue the work forward as opposed to having the same conversations over and over again. So thank you guys for being here, and I'm gonna hand it over. Over here.
Okay, sorry, I have to do a little bit of housekeeping because I'm worried about these cords. So I'm going to start by introducing our panelists, not in the order in which they will speak, but in the order in which they appear on my piece of paper. So actually it's the order that you're sitting in, so that's nice. My brain works in funny ways. So our first panelist, who I'm excited to introduce to you all, is Andrea Richardson. She is the policy director for legal services for prisoners with children, where she works to reduce the prison population, restore human rights, well, human and civil rights, to formerly incarcerated peoples, and reunite families through legislative advocacy and grassroots organizing. Before law school, Andrea developed and taught HIV harm reduction workshops, convinced that criminal and drug policies, focusing on abstinence and other restrictions of personal liberty, are at their core racist and ineffective, and should be replaced with reality-based strategies developed by directly impacted communities. So in addition to working at Lawyers for Prisoners with Children, Andrea is also on the program team of SE Justice Group, an organization that harnesses the collective power of women with incarcerated loved ones to end mass incarceration. Thank you for being here. This is better, okay. Our next panelist is also an attorney. Kendra Miller received a Bachelor of Arts from UC San Diego. She graduated from Lincoln School of Law in 2002, passed the California Bar, which we all know is a crazy feat, and thereafter worked as a volunteer attorney for AmeriCorps for 1 year. In 2002, Ms. Miller went into private practice and opened an entertainment law firm in LA. Currently, she is president and CEO of Cannabis Law, Inc., a wireless professional law corporation that provides business law and litigation services to medical marijuana patients in California. Headquartered in San Francisco, where we are right now, the firm is committed to helping medical cannabis patients form and operate for-profit, democratically controlled cannabis collectives and/or cooperatives. It has 2 divisions handling legal matters in the areas of corporate transactions and civil litigation. In addition to having her law practice, Ms. Miller is one of the founding board members of the Normal Women's Alliance and a current board member of National Normal, the national organization for the reform of marijuana laws. Her passion is fueled by participation in the on-the-ground activism and her desire to influence the implementation of rational and fair laws for cannabis consumers. We are very excited to have Ms. Miller here, and welcome. And again, 50% off of legal consultation fees by signing in at the door. Our third panelist is Lenise Martin. Lenise Martin is a community activist with a background in electoral organizing. Currently, she is the field director for the Nancy Skinner for California Senate 9th District race. She is also the founder of Cannabis Watch, a member-based organization that engages consumers and businesses to push for more just and equitable policies in the cannabis industry. Thank you very much for being here. Our final panelist is Daisy Ozing. Daisy is Vice President of the San Francisco Legalization Task Force. That's very current news. A few comments on Daisy. Very excited. And we also have fellow task force members in the audience, and we hope that you will have the opportunity to talk with them today. Her field of work, is public health, and she is the Director of Community Engagement at TASA, a city initiative that addresses policy issues impacting youth ages 16 to 25 here in San Francisco. Thank you, Daisy. So the panelists are familiar with the format of the program, and if you didn't read the Eventbrite, you might be wondering what happens now. We're going to first have each of the panelists address certain issues, followed by a Q&A portion. So we'll have 45 minutes of presentations by the panelists, and then you'll have your 15-minute Q&A. Should you wish to remain, which I think you should, We will have the second panel, which features the business side to find out what happens once you go past policy and actually start to implement this on the ground in your own businesses. So our first speaker will be Kendra, where she'll give you an overview of what the current climate is with respect to medical cannabis regulation here in San Francisco and the state of California. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. As I was standing here when I got here and looked around, I realized that you are a part of something pretty magnificent right now in this moment. I have been out of the cannabis closet as an activist since 2008, and as Sunshine mentioned earlier, I'm on the National Board of Directors of NORML, and I've been at events across the country and outside of the United States, and this is the most people of color I have ever seen. One right. Amazing, amazing. So, okay, the reason why I'm offering a 50% discount on a consultation is because the information I'm about to give you is not going to be complete. I don't have enough time. I'm going to give you very broad brushstrokes of what's going on, where we've come from, and when we're going. So if you want to continue the conversation with me, please call my office, let them know that you attended the Supernova event, and then I can have a one-on-one directly with you. I really want to make sure that you understand the information and that you are not afraid to move forward. No fear, okay? And, you know, if you work with me, I'm of the mindset, I don't ask anyone for anything. I'm just gonna take it, right? That's the mindset that I want you to have as you approach this industry. We're not asking anybody for anything. We're just gonna do it, okay? This industry was built on the backs of people who are not afraid to break the law. Am I saying that? I'm an attorney saying break the law.
Say it a little bit louder.
But that's how we got here. Let's keep it real, okay? So we're going to continue to push the boundaries if you choose to allow me to be a part of your winning team. Okay, so where have we come from? Are most of you familiar with Prop 215 and how we've been regulating since 1996? Okay. So essentially what we had under 215 is a completely vertically integrated model, right? Meaning that what your cultivation, your I think I can talk about this. Okay. Meaning that your cultivation, manufacturing, distribution, retail, transportation, all had to be done under a closed loop. Remember in 2008, then Attorney General Jerry Brown came up with his guidelines. It wasn't law, but it was a way for us to understand the way that we could lawfully cultivate and distribute cannabis throughout the state of California. So we went to a completely vertical model. Now what they did when Jerry Brown negotiated the 3 bills, and I brought copies here for you to look at and read, very important that you read it and understand it. It's not difficult. Every single one of you here can comprehend it, okay? What they did, when he signed those 3 bills on October 11th of 2015 at 5 p.m., which happened to be a Friday because he didn't want to be a news story, is that he took that vertically integrated model and he chopped it up into 6 pieces, now requiring that you have a local and state permit in order to engage in the particular cannabis activity that you want to engage in. What are the 6 categories? Cultivation, manufacture, transportation, distribution, retail, and lab testing, okay? I focus on the first 5 that I mentioned, not lab testing, because most people aren't coming to me to start a lab. If you want to start a lab, we can have that conversation, but I'm not going to talk about it today. So cultivation, what we know as we sit here today is that there are 4 basic types of cultivation licenses that will be available. Type 1, 0 to 5,000 square feet of total canopy on one parcel or one premises, okay, is a type 1. Under type 1, there's 1, 1A, and 1B. 1 is for outdoor, 1A is for indoor, and 1B is for what they're calling mixed light. How many of you in here are cultivators? Okay, excellent. I love the farmers, okay? Outdoor is defined by the government now as no artificial light throughout the cultivation process. Now, I've been up in Humboldt the last 2 weeks permitting my cultivation clients up there, okay? And I asked the planning department, because that's where you go to get your local permit in Humboldt, I asked the planning department, hey, you know, from what I understand, all clones are grown under artificial light. So does that mean if I apply for an outdoor cultivation permit that I can't clone under artificial light? And they're saying no. Not in Humboldt, but what's important is that this is the rule only for Humboldt. Okay? So it'd be really important that you get engaged with the local law and the county in which you plan to do business. I'm going to touch on that in a second. Okay, so outdoor, indoor, only artificial light, and mixed light came about as a result of light deprivation, which became popular in the last couple of years, okay? Type 2 license is 5,001 to 10,000 square feet of total canopy on one premises, outdoor, indoor, mixed light. The types of licenses I'm describing once again are at the state level. They're all defined here under AB 266, okay? Type 3, and this is important, it's the big kahuna, okay? 10,001 to 1 acre of outdoor, 10,001 square feet to 22,000 square feet of indoor and mixed light. It's a lot of weed. Okay? That also means a lot of labor costs as well, and overhead costs. So that's something to consider when you're considering as a cultivator what type of license you're going to be seeking. But what's most important is that you can't even apply for a state license on day one unless you have a local permit. So what does that mean? I am actively preparing all of my clients now to get some type of local permit, or as the law states, a local permit, comma, or some type of special entitlement. Special entitlement meaning like a conditional use or minor use variance, which every county already has a process set up in their county to do that, okay? So if your county doesn't have a local permitting regulations in place, like most of them don't, then don't take no for an answer, okay? You keep moving forward, you keep pushing, and you try to seek a special entitlement to cultivate in your county, okay? Manufacturing, as we sit here today, there are two basic types. You can get a manufacturing license for the use of volatile solvents in your process, and another manufacturing license for the use of non-volatile solvents. Once again, it's at the state level. The local county could ban volatile solvents in that county, and then you're stuck with that. The state made it very clear that they are going to defer to the counties to determine what type of cannabis activity they're going to allow in their particular locale. Okay, does that make sense? Everyone still with me? Okay, transportation. Do not poo-poo this category, okay? Because going forward, what the government did was try to put cannabis in a similar structure to wine and alcohol, okay? So going forward, the government has created a forced middleman. That's the distributor, okay? I come from Hollywood, and in Hollywood, distribution was king. So I would recommend that you actively be seeking out distributors who are going to be involved in the new marketplace and begin to establish a relationship with the distributor, because your product can't get into a store until it goes through distribution. What is distribution responsible for going forward? They're responsible for lab testing, labeling, and a track and trace program. So just like every bottle of alcohol is tracked and traced by the state so that they can make their taxes, right? The same thing is going to happen with cannabis products. But back to transportation really quick. Once you're a licensed cultivator, right, or a licensed manufacturer, you have to then hire a licensed transporter to take your product to the licensed distributor, who then does their magic and then hire a licensed transporter to take your product to a licensed retail outlet. Think about all the Budweiser trucks sitting in front of bars and restaurants, right? Those come from licensed distributors, okay? This is the new market, right? The king's rules, okay? Retail. Let's talk about that. There's two basic retail licenses that we're aware of today as we sit here with AB 266. That's Type 10 and Type 10A. If you are cultivating with a Type 1 or a Type 2 license, essentially meaning if you're cultivating 10,000 square feet or less, then you are only eligible to apply if you want to engage in retail for a Type 10A retail license. 10A limits you to 3 retail stores throughout the state of California. That's not that bad. Most people can't even handle running 1 store, okay? So if you're growing 10,000 square feet or less, then you can have 3 stores in the state of California. Same with manufacturing, you can apply for a Type 10A. Type 10, we don't know what those restrictions are. The Bureau just began to meet at the beginning of this year, and they had until January 1st, 2017 to promulgate all the specific rules related to the application process. We don't know right now what the fees are for these multiple licenses that I just mentioned to you, okay? So people ask me, hey Kendra, what do you think the fees are going to be? I don't know. I'm an unreliable psychic, but this is my guess. The Type 1 is probably going to be around $5,000 to $15,000, non-refundable. Okay, and there is an annual fee. Okay, so you got to renew it every year. Type 2 for cultivation, I'm thinking is going to be around $25,000, something like that. that the big kahuna, the type 3, right? That's 10,001 square feet to 1 acre of outdoor, 10,001 square feet to 22,000 square feet of indoor mixed light is going to be very expensive. Why? Because the Department of Food and Agriculture, which is responsible for issuing the cultivation licenses, has been instructed to limit the number of type 3 licenses available throughout the state. So my guess is that it will be around $100,000 non-refundable. Okay? These are serious numbers. Those are just the state license numbers. You still have to pay fees at the local level to get the local permit. Okay? So we're talking big business. This is what the state is contemplating, big business, right? Any questions right now? Because I can just go on.
Okay.
No?
All right, we're not going to open it up for a general question. But what I would, well, actually, quick question.
Yeah.
So we keep talking about how there are these 3 bills that passed,
Yes.
but we also all know, who are lawyers in this space, that they have a lot of pending legislation. So I think my question to you is, what are the organizations that these people here today should get involved with today to get involved in the current process, not just in the regulatory area, but also the cleanup legislation that they're passing, right? Because there's no express virtual dispensary license right now. The AB 1575 that was supposed to have it was revised and is in committee right now. So let's talk a little bit about how do you affect change with legislation, given what we have just laid out for everybody?
Okay, well, congratulations, you're doing it right now, which is getting involved into places like this, connecting with Supernova, which I am super excited about, right? Also contacting your, well, depending on the county, really get involved in the county politics, okay? Because here's the thing. If you're raising money from investors to build a business, and you're in a particular county whose rules can be changed by the Board of Supervisors, right? Then you really need to know who's on this Board of Supervisors. They're going to be able to determine whether or not you can start a business on your property or in your neighborhood, okay? So how do you get involved? One, find out who's in control of the local ordinances in your county, okay? 2, there are great organizations like Supernova, ASA. If you live in San Francisco, well, normal, I'm going to listen to all of them, list all of them, because some people like different organizations for different reasons, right? If you live in San Francisco, you're very lucky, because you have a task force, a legalization task force, that is, I'm sure, going to be asking you for your input as business owners, right? Please engage them, okay? If you are in a situation where maybe you don't feel comfortable speaking out, you know, or you need to find an advocate who can speak on your behalf, call me. I have a big mouth, and I don't mind using it, okay? Find someone who can bring a voice to your issues, okay? There are the traditional activist organizations. I also really encourage you to write letters to your local representatives. As we can see, really engaging in the political process is extremely important, okay? Extremely important. Now, at the last minute, in September of 2015, Willie Brown and the NAACP got involved with these 3 bills because of the concern about people with prior felonies not being restricted in this new industry. I would encourage you to contact local organizations, even if they aren't traditionally cannabis related, and start the conversation, okay? We should not have fear in talking about this plant. It's a plant at the end of the day, and it's a really beautiful plant, okay? And I like to always say at some point when I'm out in the public, just to remind people, it's the female part of the plant.
Right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So what do? Reach out to people. If you live in an area and you're more isolated and you're confused about what you can do, call me.